Hello and welcome. Join me for a tour around Gardens by the Bay. This place is absolutely stunning, located in Singapore. Now we've got all of these things to have a look at, like that for example, and all of this beautiful greenery as well. So I'm going to take you on a almost full loop best I can. It is very hot, as you can see, and it is very wet as well. So just bear with me. I'll go to a voiceover now and we can see what we can find. And away we go with the voiceover. Yes, it is raining, and yes, I am stupid enough to be the only one walking around in the rain, let alone with a camera in a pair of shorts and t-shirt, but it was still lovely and warm, so I was making the most of the day. Now, before we tuck into everything, you do not need a ticket for where I am walking around now, but that sign, for example, the canopy, which we're just panning around to now, little bits and pieces like that, you do need to pre-book for, because it could be full, and it does come at a cost. And of course you have the amazing I think it's the Cloud Forest and the Flower Dome are the two names of the individual places that you do need a ticket for. I could have got the names half and half, but I can't quite remember off the top of my head if it's the Cloud Forest or the Cloud Dome, but I think it is the Cloud Forest. One of them, the Cloud Forest, is very fresh, so make sure that even if it is very warm, have your little backpack with you like I had, and have a hoodie in there, because when you walk in it is surprisingly cold in there, but it was very good attraction to walk around. The waterfall was beautiful. So that video is already uploaded on the channel along with the flower one as well, but we are going to be taking a walk and basically a talk with me. So it's going to be a say what you see, and you can see just all the different bits and pieces. So yes, that is a beautiful clock face. Now this is the venue to come to in the evening, because you do have some stuff lit up at night and the attraction is beautiful, but I had to get back before it got dark. But I was stupid enough to walk down here the night before, and luckily I did film some bits and pieces at night, so that will be done on a different bit. But you can see you've got the Super Tree Grove, so there are lots and lots of different sections that you can walk around and have a look. I will clean all the water off the lens if it gets too messy as we go, but there is quite a lot to look at and explore. Now I'm going to be honest, no idea where I am walking to. I have absolutely no idea where I am. I'm just following the signs and just exploring. I did not realize this place was as big as what it was. I knew you needed tickets to get into the other two attractions, and I did them first. One of them took about an hour to walk around, the other one was about half an hour, 45 minutes. And I just thought, well, this isn't going to be as big as what it was, and it just kept going and going and going, to the point of where I thought, if I keep walking one way, it's going to take me so long to get back to the entrance, because I'm just walking further away from the direction that I need to go. But you can see these things here is the place that you come to at night. So all of the famous photos from Gardens by the Bay in Singapore is exactly where I am stood right now, but all of this looks outstanding in the evening, and I think I have got some footage of this lit up at night, so I think I've added it to the end of this video. But like I said, can't quite remember what way we're walking around, and I can't remember what way I've actually put the video together. So I put the video together on the plane, and then I ended up coming to another couple of countries before actually being able to do the voiceover to this. So take it with a pinch of salt, so hopefully it will be a half decent walkthrough for you. But like I said, the most important thing to realise is you do not need a ticket for here. You can literally rock up, you just either cycle or walk up to the very bottom. If you're cycling, that's where you place your bikes, right outside the amazing eateries. There is so many different places to grab a bite to eat and a drink, and then you basically walk up, and as you're walking through, you can go left, you can go right, you can go wherever it is that you want to go, and you just go around and explore. And then the domes are easy enough to see because they are so big, so obviously if you've already watched those videos, you know exactly what I am talking about. But just this section here is very impressive, and obviously this is where everybody stopped, looked, and just wanted to get their photo taken. It was surprisingly busy, but like I said, everybody sort of sheltered because of how bad it was. But if you look up at the top, there's the rope bridge that goes all the way around. That is something that you do need to pay for. It's about, I think it was about 20 odd pounds to do, and you literally walk all the way on the one side of the bridge, you do a loop around one of these rings, and then you just walk back again. It's obviously something that would be very popular at night, because you can obviously get to see all the different bits and pieces in the distance, and I would imagine you would get some gorgeous views of Singapore itself. That is something that I did not do. I just did the other two anyway, because the tickets combined I managed to get the night before, and it wasn't too bad, and it was actually worth doing. It was a very, very good experience. The waterfall one blew me away, and then the flower one was wasted on me, to be honest, because it was flowers from all around the world, which I massively appreciated, but I didn't really know what I was looking at. But with regards to all of this, you can see that there's another sign that says the Supertree Observatory, I think. Now there's a little ticket booth just there. That is where they basically scan the QR code on the ticket, which you can obviously download in the email or print out a paper version, and then you can just walk on. But you've got to do it in advance. You might be able to do it on the day, but they do obviously only have a limited slots per hour. So it's not like you can just queue up and just pay with cash. You do have to do it all in advance, as far as I'm aware. So head over to the Gardens by the Bay website, because all the information would be on that. Now obviously, if it was dry, I would imagine a lot of people would be chilling out and sunbathing on this little bit of grass, and they would be having a bite to eat as well, just because, well, it's a perfect location for it. Now all of these bits and pieces that we're looking at in the distance, they are eateries well within. So you've got a big sat down eatery in here, there's one a little bit further down, and then you've got all of the sort of like the hive activity where everybody seems to congregate. That was an amazing experience to walk into that into the evening. There was hundreds and hundreds of people just sat down eating all different types of food. The smell was beautiful as it walked in. It's one of those places that you just want to experience for all senses. And that was as you came in at the front. So it's still amazing to think that you've got all these big restaurants much, much further down, but you can see you've got some of the landmarks in the distance and just how big this area is. So now we are walking back and further away from the entrance, and then what we'll do, I think we'll then have a look at the eateries, and then we'll jump a little bit further on. So I started the video what I thought was in the middle, and I could not have got it worse if I tried, to be honest. Like I said, it was just better luck than judgment. It was what it was. I did what I could do, and we are now watching what we're watching. And like I said, if you just want to come, you could spend the whole day here basically. If you wanted to come down, you could, if you brought your own food and drink, you could easily do it on a good budget. And then of course book yourself in for one or the other domes, or do both, because you can get a special offer if you do both of them, or just do some other little bits and pieces. But it is one of those that if you want to get some really, really nice photos, it would be an area that you would want to come to in the evening. So if you came in after lunch and did all the different bits and pieces, and as it started to get dark, you were wrapping around here, because I have just cut through a different way and ended up back this way. Now we are going to be walking away and going down. Like I said, we have got a load of bits with regards to fountains to have a look at. We've got some other walkthrough bits. We end up in some all weird and wonderful areas, but it's just the width of the footpaths and how this place just keeps going and going. If you were to get this place up on Google Maps and just see the size of this place, but the photos on the website do not do it justice. I am glad I came up here when I did and actually went for an explore, because at one point I just thought, oh, it's just the two bits that I've already done. There's loads of people up at the top where they're all eating, so that's obviously where it is, and then you've just got the bit from the bottom where people drop the bikes off. That was a good bit of a walk as well, nice little bit of water. But all of this, I had no idea any of this was here, just because I think it was raining, everybody was in the domes, and obviously it wasn't in peak season, so it just looked like, oh, it was just nothing down here. But if you are going to be going to Singapore and you are going to be getting yourself down here, get yourself through it. So that is the Supertree Grove. That's just one big loop round that I've done. That took 8 minutes just to walk around that and show all that off for you. And then you can see we've got the meadow, we've got the worlds of whatever that says up at the top. We'll go down and hunt all of that down, and then there's a lot of water that we've got to have a look at. If I was to go there in a straight line, that took me one way. If I went back another way, it took me another way. There is a way to get up on the bridge. Yes, you've got all these amazing fish in this water as well, which I had no idea that was here. So it's just really nice to explore completely blind. I quite like doing that. I like knowing where I'm going to go, but not 100% what's there, and then experiencing it for the first time, because I am properly exploring it through the camera lens, and then just soaking it all in. But you can see just how wet it was. Hence why I said I ruined my trainers when I was over here, because not only did I get absolutely drenched a couple of times, I also wore them on some of the log flume rides, and I have never been so wet in my life. But again, that is all good fun, and it is part and parcel. I think we get up there at some point and have a look round. I know I got up there, but I'm not too sure if I took you with me. I am, just because of how tight I was for space for the memory card, because I put a brand new memory card in, and I didn't expect the first one to be, I think I filmed about 50 minutes and the upload's 40. So I did take 1 or 2 bits and pieces out because I actually ended up going back on myself without actually realising. I think it was either that one or the other one. And then this, I didn't expect to do this either because I didn't know all of this was here. Otherwise I would have brought the spare memory card with me. So lesson learned, always have a spare memory card with me and an external hard drive, so I never have to worry about memory space. But you know it's a big place when you are having to get direction back to where it says more dining and the visitor centre, because we are just walking further and further away from the entrance. Now I did walk down here and it did take me about 2 hours plus from the hotel, but there is a video already available of seeing the sights and sounds of Singapore while cycling back, and now I did manage to do that. There will be a video on this channel with regards to how you can do that easily, with regards to just being able to hire the bike and then just cycling back to the Marina Bay, because I think that is extremely important for a lot of people, because I know nobody is as stupid as me to go, I don't have Google Maps, I know roughly where the hotel is, I know it's going to take about 2 hours, the taxi takes about 10 minutes, why don't I walk? And that's what I did. So I just decided to go for a walk like I am now, thinking it's only going to take a couple of minutes, and this is a whole different kettle of fish now, because I am walking somewhere that is so big I actually end up stopping and turning round because it just keeps going and going. I think this is a wrap round all by the water that would take you back to the entrance. So you could probably walk this for about 20 minutes by itself, see all of this beauty as we're going around. And again, this is what I mean about just amazing how this would be at night, just to soak all this in. You've got these really cool little fountains in the water. Yes, there are people the other side of the water doing this loop round as well. So there is a third and fourth way that you can kick down this way, and it just keeps going and going. So I know we do explore it for a little while, and then I think I end up just cutting the camera off and walking back to where we were, carrying on, because there's another building down there which I had no idea it was. I didn't even know it was signposted, and then we go back up to the more busier bits. But I don't care, to be honest, that it was raining. It was cooler. It just the backdrop is just stunning. But just seeing all of this and hearing everything, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now you've got to be careful because you don't want to fall in. Now I am stupid, but just don't be like me. Don't be that person that jumps in, because it is no swimming. It is meant for fish, and it's a wide enough walkway, so I don't think you've really got an excuse to jump in whatsoever. But like I said, just going for an explore, and then it just keeps going. So it zigzags all the way around. You can see in the distance there's fountains, and there's more fountains. It just keeps going. And I was looking at the battery, so the memory card life, thinking to myself, there's absolutely no way I am going to be able to cover all of this. This would have probably been an hour and a half, if not 2 hour walk round, easily, at the pace that I'm walking, just to try and explore and soak everything in. And that's without a map and figuring it all out. But you have got the huge wheel in the distance, which again, I did see all of that lit up at night, and there are videos available, because I actually got lost the night coming here. I did actually walk well over 20 kilometers to find this place, there and back, and I just hurt. It hurt a lot, but there are photos and videos available of all of that within the uploads from Singapore, which is obviously all under the other adventures playlists, because obviously this is a lot of this channel is all about different theme parks, but then of course there's lots of other things to explore when you're in the other countries. So I'm not 100% sure if you want me to put all the different bits and pieces in completely separate playlists. So for example, Singapore has its own playlist, but there's only going to be 5 videos in there, or it's just under the other adventures, and then you can just see all the other crazy stuff that I get up to, going around and hunting down all the different airports. And when we get to Abu Dhabi, getting horrendously lost without signal and not being able to find my hotel. Now you can see where we're going and what I mean. All around that water, I would have loved to have done a loop, because you could have just walked the water, kept the water to your left hand side, gone all the way that way and come all the way back down again. But there's just no way I would have had the time to do it. I would have, and I honestly would love to go back just to explore all of this again and have more time, because I gave myself enough time, but not enough to do the stuff that isn't mentioned. I am the kind of person that just loves to go off and explore and just see things and soak things in. I did the main bit, which is the touristy bit, which is I thought was the main bit that was there. But like I said, seeing all of this, it was just very, very special to explore. And clearly, it was a lot of locals that I saw with regards to who was about. Because obviously, where you are up at the top, you can tell who the touristy people are, a bit like myself. And they all were up by the restaurants and didn't even venture down this way. So I'm assuming that you can use this area as a really big cut through, and then it carries on going to a different bit. So you can see again, somehow we've ended up by where those bits are. So we're now coming a different way down, getting back to where the fish are, because this is another route that we've not yet taken. And then we're just going to come back down on ourselves, because like I said, walking that up by the water, there was a couple of different ways back. Now it's amazing to see just how clean this thing is. It was just beautiful. Now this is the stairs up and going across the top. That is one of a few different ways up. And then again, you can go down this way, which takes you to the big bits that you've already seen. And then again, you've got the signs, you've got the parking, you've got trams, trains, and all that kind of thing. And of course, if you get tired, just get a taxi. Get a taxi back to your hotel. They are very, very cost effective with regards to just getting around. So it didn't cost much whatsoever to get from the airport back. So you can see where I am now. You can see that it makes no sense, because somehow I thought I was going in a straight line, and I'm absolutely nowhere near where I want to go. But again, the big water, as you're looking for the left hand side, is actually the way in. So I'm getting further and further away from the entrance. I earned my burger by the time I had cycled back, because I had done a serious amount of kilometers over these 2 days, and I earned that nicely. But again, if you have been here, what is your favorite thing to explore? What is your favorite thing to do? Now, at the time that I was filming this, because like I said, we're going to go down to come back up again, there was a lot of carving sculptures as well. So that was very, very pretty with regards to the different bits and pieces that were there. Now, you will see in this, obviously, upload the external part of the actual 2 walkthrough attractions, but I am not adding them to this video and doing a voiceover. Otherwise it would be well over an hour to an hour and a half just for all of that. But after we've just walked down that random bit to the walkway, which was down this way, we are now back by the fish. So the fish are now where we are. I don't know where those last couple of minutes have gone. I probably wouldn't be able to do that again if I tried. I just don't know. But you can see all of the fish there in the water. Very, very happy that it's raining and nice and cool. And then as we come down this way, there are some human beings. And then you've got maybe 3 or 4 different ways that you can go. I think I start to do a loop, cross over somewhere, see a building, look at the building, look like you needed a ticket to get in that attraction as well. Didn't actually see that attraction on the website. Saw that you could go much, much further down, turned around, got scared, and then started to come back up again. So that is basically how this tour is going to go. It's me being lost. I couldn't tell you the best way now is to go left or right. If you are using this as a guide of how to get around, I would take it with a pinch of salt. Just basically don't do what I do, and don't go where I go, because you just end up coming back on yourself. Maybe pick up a map. That might be a good idea, because I didn't have one. And of course, if you are from the UK, your SIM card does not work. So if you got yourself a local SIM card and then you had a huge amount of data on there, you can obviously just look on Google Maps and just see where you're going. So that's the easier way of doing it, because that SIM card does not cost much whatsoever. Now, there is a baby. What that's to do with, I have no idea, but there is a lot of lights on it, so I would imagine that that would look very, very nice lit up at night. And again, you've got all these nice little walkways and these nice little picnic areas as such, just to be able to relax and just soak all of these different bits and pieces in, because, well, look at it, it's just a glorious place to walk around. And again, I'm kind of happy that it wasn't scalding hot, because you've got a lot of trees to stay cool by, but at the same time it would have been going from sort of like zone to zone. You could have caught the sun very, very quickly. Now where I am now is like a roundabout. I've got 4 different ways that I can go, and I am now just gambling, going over the bridge just to see what is over this way, and we are walking, I do believe, over the water that we were walking around before. So that's where the walkway carries on. So like I said, it would have been a huge loop, because we've just walked all the way down this way, saw on the map you could have done a full loop up to this point and all the way back round again. So I would have loved to have done just that loop, just to see how long it is, because I am stupid enough to do that kind of thing. But again, they have all of this. I don't know if the little fountains that are in there are to oxygenate the water or not, but those guys and girls know where they're going, because they're going back on the other side, back down. You've got some signs there for different trams, and you've got some other signs there just to get you back, but to the eateries. Now, coming this way, I was thinking to myself, well, there's people taking photos, there's got to be something down here. It felt like you were coming right to the edge of the garden, because you've got these huge buildings, and I was thinking to myself, I'm just going to have to turn around, because you're about to just walk out of a random exit, or it was just going to go into the city of Singapore or something. As you can see now how close we are to that building. And yes, there's a load of little golf carts that all the staff and everything drive around in, because it is just so large. But then there's this building, I just don't know what this is. I didn't have any information on this, so if you know what this is, because I did try and look on the website. So this is beautiful, this might even be the screen grab that I use. I just don't know what this bit is. I don't know if it's like a butterfly garden or what, to be honest, because they did have those. They had some really nice butterfly gardens in the actual airport, so all of that is to come in. You've got all of these bits and pieces on the inside, but there's loads of people in there, and I just don't know what it was. I don't know if it was meant for little ones, I don't know if it was a play area, but you are well out the way of the main ticket attractions up at the top. And like I said, I did not see what this was on the website, so I'm just assuming that I am still in Gardens by the Bay. And when I crossed over that bridge, I didn't change into a different area, but I did turn the camera off and try and have a look through, and I still couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle together of what it was. It did look like there was some like fish on TV screens and different bits and pieces like that, but I can just imagine how pretty this building would be lit up, because you would imagine it's got all the different spotlights up on there, and it would just change colour, and it would look very pretty indeed. So it'd be very interesting to see what that is about. But you just got locals walking around with their dogs, so there's obviously lots and lots of different walkways. It's almost like it's their main park as well, so it's not just a tourist attraction. That's what threw me a little bit, because I just assumed that Gardens by the Bay was just, like I said, those two big walk around attractions. You had a bit of an area that you can walk around and come down, but we're getting to more and more signs now. So there's 4 different ways that we can go. So like I said, I just had to bail, and I just had to start coming back again, because I was just running out of everything. I was running out of time. I needed to get back to the hotel. I needed to get everything charged back up again for the following day, because the following day I ended up going to Universal Studios in Singapore, which was a serious day out, and then all of that will be uploaded to the channel sooner rather than later as well. But you can see all of that is just at the start, which I thought the whole thing was. But then we've got the meadow, we've got a different garden. It's just massive, absolutely massive. So make sure that you give yourself enough time to come down and just explore this. And if you want to do a really nice loop of this water, at least you know where it is, and you can just walk on the decking board and then just go all the way around. And to be honest, that might be quite a good way to get about, because you might be away from quite a lot of people, and if you know that it does a full circle, then you don't have to worry about it too much with regards to getting lost. Now, talking about getting lost, I could have walked that way. That would have been bad, I would imagine. I'm assuming that was not the right way to go, and I was just getting further and further away from the entrance. So now I'm trying to find the bridge that I walked over, to start coming back on myself, to then hunt that restaurant down, to then walk up to the bits that I've already filmed, that have already been uploaded onto the channel. So again, hunt them down in the other adventures playlist at the moment. Of course, if that changes over time and there's a Singapore playlist, it will be in that instead. And now we are just trying to escape. So there I am now, officially not so much lost, but just don't know where I'm going. Is that a fair thing? Because I know I've got to go over the bridge, and luckily you can see the big tall trees in the distance. So I just aimed for them and basically hoped for the best. And obviously, because this place is so big, took a completely different way back on the way back. Ended up seeing some other little bits and pieces before we managed to loop it up to the top. But there is just over 10 minutes to go. So guys, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Again, get your comments in the comment section with regards to, have you been here before? Is this on your bucket list? Now, there are multiple videos being uploaded from different places around the world to this channel all the time. But the bits and pieces that are related to Singapore is all to do with Gardens by the Bay, and also there's some how to get around videos as well. The hotel and accommodations video has already been uploaded, and it is a perfect location to get to all of the different touristy attractions around Singapore, and it is also super easy to get from the actual hotel, the airport, to the hotel as well. Now, the actual airport is a video all by itself, so that'll be uploaded sooner rather than later, because there's waterfalls and big fountains and all sorts of different bits and pieces. There's Lego stores there, so that'll be uploaded to the Lego channel. There's everything in there, and you can pay, I do believe, about £12 to go back around the shopping complex at the airport and use and utilize a load of those shops, because it's on 4 or 5 levels. So have a look on the Lego website, have a look on the actual website for the airport and different attraction touristy places online, and there is a ticket available to go back. Now, I didn't need to, because luckily I gave myself enough time going back to the airport to explore everything, but it would have been quite nice maybe to do it without a suitcase, and I would imagine there would have been some other stores that you wouldn't have been able to see because you had already checked in, so it'd be quite an interesting thing. So if you know exactly what that's all about, then obviously let me know. Now, I'm assuming this is the meadow because you've got the big loop round. That looks very, very pretty, because you can obviously just loop around the grass and then you can just come back again. I didn't. I just turned around and thought, no, thank you very much. That looks far too far away for me. So let's just carry on and just keep going and just try and keep these supersized trees in the middle, because I know that how long it takes me to get to the trees, it's then going to take even longer from there to actually get back to the entrance, and then it's going to take a little bit longer then to get back to the bike and all the food and everything that is down at the bottom. So when you've been walking all day, and I mean all day, for hours and hours and hours, then it gets emotional quite quickly. But you can see, though, it is, all jokes aside, really easy to get around, because you've got all the different sign bits and pieces, and of course it is in English, which makes things much easier for me. You just follow the signs and you just go back up, and you just don't be daft. Now, that I didn't know where to go, because you've got steps or straight line, and of course I wanted to go up the stairs thinking the stairs would just go up and run parallel to that footpath. It takes you to a completely different section. Like, I didn't even know this section was here. You didn't see any signs for this bit, and then all of a sudden you got quite a lot of people, I think if I remember rightly, taking some really nice photos. And again, it's just, if one of those, I guess if you're local, you know to use this bit as like a really nice cut through. And again, with it raining heavy and it raining loads of sunshine, this would have been a really nice bit to walk on, because it's all covered over your head as well, so that keeps it nice and simple. You just got the big drops coming off the trees. Yes, now we are turning into a maze. We are now going, well, we can go that way, we could have gone that way, but they are in the process of sorting out the trees there. I could just keep going in a straight line and basically hope for the best, and that is what I did. But again, you can see that it's got lights, so when you're walking around in the evening, it is very, very well lit, and you'll see that there'll be bags. You can see all the plant pots that are down there, but you'll see that there'll be bags dotted around from time to time. That is not rubbish, that is actually the people that work on site filling everything up with leaves. So you can see that there's hardly any leaves dumped around, because they're always being picked up. Now, there's something to explore in there, but they're in the process of actually doing something there. Then you've got another trail in the middle, and then, like I said, that's why you need, if you like your walks, you can go for quite a fair few of them if you just wanted to pick them up. I'm sure there'll be somewhere online where you could pick up some maps and you can actually do these different walks for different distances if you wanted to sort of get your steps in. But trust me, just getting here, it was long enough. But again, you got all your different bins, you got all your different areas, you got these nice little bits and pieces in the middle. You got, now I guess we're looking at all of the different hedges that have all been cut, because they're all different shapes. So you can see the face on that one with the nose, and then you've got different animals there. So all of these are fantastic. You've got the little dogs, you've got all the multicolored bits and pieces. That looks like there's a big duck just there. You've got all of these. Now, I'm not going to lie, I didn't even notice this when I was walking around the first time, so I was just trying to figure out how and where I was. But this clearly would have been stated on the map that this is something to do with somebody cutting these to shape. And whoever's done this has some serious skill. So they do look very good indeed. And obviously in certain areas you can see there is information written on the wall. Now that was another battery that I've just gone through, because the batteries get drunk in this heat. They don't like the cold too much, but in the heat they go through very quickly indeed. Luckily I had enough batteries per memory card, because the memory card was just over 4 hours, so I knew that if I had done more than 4 hours of filming I'd have been in trouble. But I don't think I hit 4 hours in a day, but I was close most days. So you got a lot of footage to come. And then you got a staircase to somewhere. I couldn't tell you where because I can't see any of the signs. And then again, you can go down that way, you can cut straight into the middle, you can go in a straight line, you can wrap it around. It's just get over here and just explore it. I think that's the easiest. Thing to do. Just be daft like me. If you know that you've booked your ticket and you're going to book it later on in the evening, give yourself a couple of hours just to wander around, soak it all in, sit yourself down for a drink. You're going to be able to have some very nice photos if you want to. But again, I don't know how busy this area will get later on in the year, because I did come out of season. So everybody was in the actual 2 domes, and the first night, so this would have been last night as such when I filmed this, the tickets were sold out to be able to get into the attractions. So I was very lucky that I did manage to get into these attractions the following day, because I didn't think I'd be able to do it. And if I couldn't have done it, I probably wouldn't have come back and explored all of this, and I would have been kicking myself. But again, you've got all the different little bits of information of where I am is just the bit that I've walked up the stairs. So we are in the fruit and flowers section now. So I would love to have an aerial photo of just the scale of this place. So again, as we've gone through, what's your favourite bit? Do you like this kind of thing, or have you just stuck with me because I'm being an absolute melon and I've got lost and now I don't really know where I'm going? So I'm now looking for those stairs, because I thought, well, I've gone up, so if we can find the stairs, which are here, we can then go down, and then I'm just assuming that we would link back up to the area that I was, and then we can start going to the supersized trees. So that was my thought process behind that, and for the first time in a while we have just seen some human beings, so that is always a positive, because it does mean that potentially we are going in the right direction, which is always good. So we'll come down, and what I've done basically is found the path that I just walked on. So that actually did get to the bit where I thought it would have done. I just walked back the way we've come, so you didn't need to see that bit, because it's just exactly what we've just filmed. And now we are walking back up. It's going to walk up a different way. We're going to stay quite tight to the right hand side. Now you can see the sun is starting to come out, which means there's lots of human beings starting to come out, but we are into the Jurassic nest. Now we are going to hunt and have a quick look in here, because it's actually full of all different dinosaurs in here. So yes, that is a huge dinosaur just on the inside. So I did go in for a quick explore and have a quick look. It smelled amazing. Loads of tables. You could sit down easily. It was nice and fresh in there. But look at this. You wouldn't have thought this would have been in here. So this is what I mean about it just being very surprising with regards to just getting in here and exploring. There's loads and loads of different bits and pieces you can sit down. Loads of little eateries. Now this is very similar to what you've got when you first come in. But when you first come in, it's all outdoor. So there's no roof over the top. So that was all of the eateries that you could see, but I didn't want to walk too far in because there was lots and lots of people eating in there, because obviously that's where a load of people would have hidden, and then they're all starting to walk out. But now we're going to keep that close to our right hand side. This we haven't seen yet on this upload, and I don't think I'd actually walked this way yet, but we have got about 5 minutes to go. So we're just walking in a straight line, and I keep cutting different bits and pieces off because I fill the memory card up. So this is the problem. So now what I'm doing, I'm just cutting bits and pieces on the way back up. There's some amazing bits and pieces to see. There is a thing saying that is a natural bit that there was already there with the stone, I do believe, when they dug the different bits and pieces out, and it did look very cool. So that's what that is there. So you can see what that looks like, and it pause it if you need to. It will come across clearly enough if you pause it, but I'm just looking back through this through a very small screen, so I can't see that. Now we're back to the floral clock. And that is the huge building in the background, which is the flower dome. So I am getting this right now. So that is the Flower Dome, and it is the Cloud Forest. So I finally put 2 and 2 together. But this is the longest sculpture in the world. So we've got the sculpture by, well, you can see it for yourself, and it was done in 2023 when the sculpture was done, but this was filmed start of May, I do believe, in 2024. So I think that's the correct month. So you can see just how big this thing actually is. It wraps all the way around. You have got a beautiful and huge amount of these just to have a look at. So you can see basically people were picking their favorite animal to get a photo taken too, but they all join up by the tail and the mouth, and they just touch with the claw or do something slightly different for every single one. You can see some of the smaller ones. I think that's a little armadillo. He did look pretty cool. And then you've got the seal, and then we're coming down to the big bull. As we get down, some of them get massive because you've got these really detailed crocodiles, and then you've got a big bear. I think we finish on an octopus, and the octopus is just ridiculous. I mean, that snake is really, really, really long. And then you've got all of these little bits and pieces. I think you've got a really chubby seal just there. And then as it comes through, I'm waiting for it because I'm sure that's what it finishes on. But it's just amazing to think that all of these are carved. Somebody has spent the time to do this and put it in here, and I'm glad that I managed to do a loop of this, because we went all the way down the one side and obviously had a quick look at the other, and it was enormous. And again, I didn't see any of this when I first came in, because you can come in so many different ways that you could have just missed this and not seen it. So you do need to either just try and figure out where bits and pieces are, or just don't rush. But I do like the big turtle, and then I think you got the big gorilla. So they are just keep going and going and going. Where does it end? Because it is on both sides, and then again you've got all this water in the background. You can see in the middle, so you've got the smaller ones coming into the bigger ones again. You've got some other other sculptures on the inside that isn't anything to do with this. And then I think we've got a big eagle. We've got some little bears, little eagles. So you can see they are named after different animals that have either been rescued, or there is a reason why they've done what they've done. And then we finish on this huge thing just here. Look at the size of that. Oh no, I'm lying to you, sorry. It does keep going. And again, if you were to stop and read every single plaque and plinth, you would need a huge amount of time, because each one of those are named, and that is where we are. So I wonder, because where that location is of the building, if we could have got there from the water, and those stairs, I wonder, link to where we were for the other stairs. So I think things are on slight different tiers. So you've almost got a top tier, this will be the middle, and say the water is more of the bottom area. I think you could easily get around. So we are now just walked past all the domes, and we are now walking to the bit at the front. So we've sort of kind of skipped the bit that you walk between the two domes. There's a little eatery just in there. That's already been shown in the other videos. But all of this now is where you would walk down to drop your bike off, and everything here to the right hand side is all food. So that is where you can go in and stuff your face, and you can sit down because you put your bikes just out the front, and then you can go in. The smell was incredible. But that is it, and I am done. So guys, if you can like this video again and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. There are photos and videos available of the eatery, I do believe. So what I'll do is we'll go over to a silent bit with a couple of photos at the end before the video actually runs out. But again, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.